Welcome back to the Mindful Shift podcast. I am Leopoldine, and this space is for people who want real change without turning their life upside down or even in a full-time spiritual performance. Here we talk about how your mindset actually creates your reality and how you can shift it in a way that feels calm, safe, and human. A couple of times a month, I share mindset tools inspired by the law of assumption to help you rewrite your inner story and your way of thinking. So finally, your outer life, your 3D reality can shift too. And if you want personalized help, one-on-one coaching with me, I know you want it, so click in the link below. You know that moment when something happened and you're just sitting there thinking, why is this happening again to me? Same type of situation, but with different people or in a different context, different timing. But somehow it is the same exact inner monologue and dialogue inside you. And there is a pattern repeating in your 3D reality. And that quiet frustration in your mind, that familiar pattern in your 3D, that's exactly what I want to talk about today. And most people will assume they are stuck because they didn't work enough on themselves just yet. They didn't do inner work and shadow work enough. Or that they didn't find the right method yet. Or they didn't understand the law. It wasn't the right routine to manifest. They did something wrong. Or it was simply a lesson. They didn't understand yet what this was about, clearly. What did I tell you? This is not the issue. This is not about you understanding a lesson. This is not about you not doing the right thing. You manifest perfectly. You always did. And you will always manifest perfectly. And yes, it is something perhaps for some of you uncomfortable to notice. Because what if the experience you keep having is actually just the result of your belief and repetitive thoughts? You know, the one you are looping for so long, they are just natural for you and are rewritten back to them naturally and automatically. And you literally stopped thinking those type of thoughts or even those beliefs were optional because they are. And you can change them anytime. So no, this is not about you believing what you are thinking just yet. This is not about you feeling anything. And this is absolutely not about your past and what you will uncover or what you will work on yourself and self-development. No, if you are here for that, please, either this is not the video for you, so skip it, or either continue if you want to make manifestation easy for you. And this is not also the fact that you are doing everything absolutely correctly or that you have to do everything right. It is absolutely only about the thoughts that you are looping in your mind and you have accepted as true. That's it. And I know that idea can feel strange, at least at first. That means randomness disappear. It doesn't happen. Nothing random happens in your world. You are creating everything. And this is your responsibility to change your way of thinking. But please hear me out. Stay with me. This is not about you feeling guilty or beating yourself up because you created everything before. This is about you realizing that you can change everything and make your life better right now. So let's take an example. There is two people. They are experiencing the exact same situation, but they end up with two completely different ways of thinking, two different mindsets. One, feel entirely rejected and never chosen. And the other, keep finding that everything is working out in their favor and that it is working for them and they are supported. And this is just an opportunity to get what they want. Because anyway, they are always chosen. The same exact external experiences, the same 3D reality, two different ways of thinking, two different assumptions about what is happening in front of them. And this is not about luck. This is not about your personality. Though, if I'm honest, that also you can change if you want to. If you want to, only. And this is absolutely not about you forcing or making more efforts. It is just two different way of thinking, two different state of minds about the way they see life, people in their life, specific people in some case in their life, specific situations, and even for some cases themselves. And those type of mindset, no matter it's one or the other, that's not just to be pretty and doing nothing. That's what creates your reality 90% of the time, in the background, subconsciously, without you thinking consciously about it. That creates your entire reality and experiences. And what you consciously notice, what you consciously choose to repeat as a thought, again and again and again, that's what you end up creating even more. Because you acknowledge that as true. And that's the core of manifestation. Your dominant state of mind is what manifests your current reality. So we are not talking about you attracting anything to you or something out there and maybe it's for you, maybe it's not, or you are just have to be in the right energy, in the right mood and wait for it to come in. Maybe, perhaps with chance, with some luck. No, not at all. We are talking about here selecting the reality you want to experience, but you do it mentally in your mind. And you do it mentally with repetition, again and again and again, until you experience it in your reality. And that happens when your mind starts to see it as normal for you. With enough repetition, it will become natural, normal for you. In your mind first, and then it will be pushed out into your reality. And please, I want to just pause here a minute and for you to notice what you are exactly assuming and thinking as you are watching this video. Because yes, those automatic robotic thoughts you are thinking in the background, no matter what it is about I'm saying or about your life or yourself, this is what this is about. This is what you are creating right now. And you can change it right now. And yes, that does matter more than it seems. You don't need to fully convince yourself or even to feel convinced, to believe in it before you see change in your reality. Actually, you won't believe in it until you see proof in your reality. And that's normal. You don't need to be confident or to be certain of the results. You don't need to. And you don't need to feel anything because emotions doesn't manifest. Your emotions don't manifest. You can manifest when you are hungry. You can manifest when you are sad and crying. You can manifest frustrated. You can manifest in any emotional state you want. You will still get what you want. So no, that doesn't matter. An emotion is just the first manifestation of what you were thinking, no matter it was consciously or subconsciously. That's the first movement manifestation that you were doing. That's all it is. This is not a way to manifest unless, of course, you create it as a rule for yourself. And I invite you to check the episode about the rules and creating your own rules. The only thing that manifests is the way you stay as much as possible in the right state of mind. And how do you stay in the right state of mind? The one you selected for yourself. By repeating a thought that means you are in that state. So what most of us call affirmation. Let's make it practical so you understand it better. So what actually creates your reality isn't one thought you have casually once in a while. Absolutely not. No matter it is negative, positive, adapt, doesn't matter. It is the thought you keep returning back to again and again and again and again on loop most of the time. Or within few days, few weeks. Keep repeating those type of thoughts enough, even in a long while, and it will create something into your reality. And the one you keep repeating to yourself every single day, no matter it is conscious or not, are the ones that are creating what you see and experience right now, or even in the very near future, and what you experienced in the past, obviously. Because once something becomes natural, obvious for you, that's when you start to experience it in your reality. You know, when you have those thoughts about something you fear, and you keep returning to it, doing it subconsciously, because you cannot stop thinking about it as going wrong or going some type of way. And then you experience it and you say, I knew it. I knew it would happen this way. I knew it. I had a feeling. No, you didn't have a feeling. You knew it because you keep repeating that to yourself and you created it. Now, all you have to do is do it the same thing for what you want. You don't need to do that. That means it's working. No matter what you are doing, no matter it is something you want or not, it's still working. So you just have to do the same thing for what you want. It's as simple as that. And manifestation doesn't work because you force anything, but only because your mind starts accepting those new thoughts as something that is true, that's always been like that for you, or that is always like that for you now. This is natural for you now. This is how things are for you now. Obviously, you keep repeating that to yourself, so that must be true, right? And most of you don't realize you've always been doing this and you will always do this, that you want it or not. So at least use it at your advantage. Take the responsibility and create something good for yourself. Know that you know. Know that you are conscious of it. Before that, you didn't know. Because anything you started to believe or that you believe right now wasn't created in one moment. That was built through repetition and then something you experience. Then you believed it. It's something you heard again and again and again growing up, or even that you absorbed watching content online, or even things that you repeated so often in your mind to yourself that they stopped feeling questionable, and you proved it to yourself that it was true for you because you perhaps experienced it or accepted them as true. And at some point, you just started thinking, this is all life works for me now. And guess what? That's how patterns works, actually. And that's how manifestation work. This is your baseline. And no, that's not happening in one big thing. So no, it doesn't happen most of the time in one big shift, but really in small repetitive thoughts. Again and again and again. Through days, weeks, months even. And then slowly it just became who you are. And yes, you can change that at any point if you want to. So when someone tells you, I always end up in those kind of situation or with those kind of person, that always happened to me. What they are usually saying to you and describing is simply a state of mind they didn't change yet. And they keep having and that keep creating that in their reality. Period. And again, if repetition did create it, then guess what? Repetition can change it. And this time you can do it consciously and on purpose. And this is where most of you overcomplicate it. You don't need intensity. You don't need to believe it. You don't need to feel anything. You don't need to work on yourself more or to have some emotional breakthrough. All you need is repetition and consistency. That's all you need. Keep thinking that thought until it shows up in your reality. And keep thinking that thought brings you into the right state of mind, and that state of mind will make you shift into the reality where this is true for you. That's it. That's all there is. And even simple repetition of a new thought, like, I don't know, I always get what I want. And it's not because you are finding the right formula or your words are magical. This is because you are training your mind to think in a new way to make it your new normal. This is your new baseline. You can repeat the thought without even believe it. But you don't have also to think the opposite all the time or tell yourself this is not working. Just keep repeating the thought again and again and again. Stay neutral about it. That's the thing. Just stay neutral. You don't have to believe it, but you don't have also to tell you this is not working. Because most of you think that if you don't feel it, if you don't see something right away, this is not working. But guess what? That's the opposite. Most of the time, you will feel something naturally without forcing anything when you keep repeating those type of thoughts. Your way of thinking will change. Your way of feeling, your emotion will change. Remind you, this is a first manifestation. This is the first change. The way you think, the way you feel will probably change because of the thought you keep repeating. Not before you do it, not while you are doing it. Sometimes yes, through repetition, but sometimes no, and that's okay. That doesn't matter anyway. You don't have to force any feelings. And if you don't see something right away, that's fine. Just keep repeating. Keep doing it every single day. Repeat to 10 to 30 minutes. Period. That's it. Until you see something. And you will. If you keep repeating the thought. And if it feels flat or even fake or even like you are telling yourself lies at first, that's fine. All you are doing when you are repeating that thought is familiarizing yourself with it more and more and more and more through repetition. Now, whatever you are consuming all the time, no matter it's on the net, on the social medias, or at TV, no matter what it is, let it be known that whatever you are consuming, your mind is also absorbing subconsciously. Even when you are just scrolling for a minute, that doesn't mean you need to do a social media detox. That's not what I'm saying. But if you continually, all the time, consume content that talk about lack, the opposite of what you want, distrust, disappointment, issue with money, and you look at those all the time, a lot, every single day, your subconscious will still register all of this. It's not you looking at this once and moving on. No, but that's you keeping hearing, repeating the same thing again and again. And it won't be instant, but it will be gradual. It will have an impact too. And when you try to change the way you are thinking, it is the opposite of what you want, that will just add resistance. That's if you have seen those type of content again and again and again and again. This is also about repetition here. And yes, that can create resistance. This is absolutely not you failing at manifesting when you are watching social media or other things. This is just about it creating friction, because this is like you assuming being the right state of mind and then you going off track and doing the opposite when you consume a lot of those type of contents. And this is absolutely not about you avoiding reality or doing a detox of your social media. That's not what I'm saying. This is more about you being more aware of what type of things you are thinking and consuming most of the time, because those things also does shape your mindset and your way of thinking through repetition. And this is surely what your mindset is default to. What is your most dominant type of thinking? So let's bring this into real life for a second, into your 3D reality. Think, for example, about how you expect people to show up for you, or that specific person to show up for you. Do you expect his kindness, respect, or even consistency from them, or people in general? Or on the contrary, are you expecting for the interaction to be complicated, distant, disrespectful, or even unreliable? And that's when most of you don't question that, because the way you are seeing one person, they will act that way because you are thinking about them that way. And two people can experience one person very differently. One can experience them respectful, kind, reliable, consistent, and because one person sees them and maybe I experience them once as not reliable, not consistent, disrespectful, they can both have two very different versions of that same person. One assume this and the other assume that, and they will both experience something different. And yes, it will change your interaction. And both are true, depending on what you expect that person act towards you in your life. It is the same thing with anything you want. Honestly, people and situation experiences, your 3D is just a mirror. It's just a reflection of your inner mind, of your mental anything. And most of the time, this is not about you thinking, I am not good enough. No, this has nothing to do with that. It's more about, I'm not that type of person. This is not for me. This always worked like that for me and not like that. This works for others, but not for me, but not in a good way. Please do it reverse. At least make it working in your favor. Because all of this is still beliefs that are creating your experience. This is still some patterns. This is still something you can change. When I talk about experiencing someone, about free will, because this is also about some of you being confused about it. You are absolutely not controlling anyone in your 3D reality by your action or your words. Like there are some characters, Barbie or whatever. No. Or even puppets on some strings. Absolutely not. You are not controlling anyone in your 3D visual words. This is about you thinking mentally. This is mental. Manifestation is mental. This is about you. Always. No matter it is about someone, an SP, or about something you want, this is always about you first and foremost anyway. It is a mental and about you. Because, for example, for a specific person, when you are experiencing someone a certain way, you are experiencing them through a filter, some lens you are applying on yourself to see them a certain way, mentally. And then you will experience them a certain way. Subconsciously, you always did that. You always did that. You are always selecting a version of someone. And you are always selecting a version of your reality and interpreting it through some filters based on what you consistently expect of your reality or of someone. You're always doing it and you will always do it. So at least for once, do it in your favor. What is wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. This is just thoughts. This is just mental. You are not manipulating or acting in the 3D or telling anyone to manipulate that. This is not about that. Because is this manipulation also when you are expecting and constantly thinking that that person will reject you, will treat you badly, will disrespect you, will be inconsistent? How is that not a bad thing also to think that type of thing and not manipulating, right? Maybe they don't want to act like that toward you, but they don't have a choice anyway, at least not in your reality toward you, because you will experience version of people that match absolutely that, no matter which version you are choosing. And it is not about you forcing them doing anything in your 3D. This is only because mentally you are thinking from that version of them, from that filter. But if you change the filter, they will act differently. When the filter change, your experience will change too. And yes, there is sometimes a slight delay. Keep being consistent and repeating the new filter and it will apply. This is not about control. This is about selecting the version of them you want to experience. And at least this makes everyone happy. That's better, right? So, changing your reality, creating a new reality, manifesting isn't about shifting overnight. Though you can do it, why not? This is also possible. But this is about choosing a different mental identity that you will think through until you get to experience it in your 3D reality. This is not about you trying to attract something or get something. This is about how you are thinking while you are moving through your life. Because no matter what you are creating, this will happen the most naturally for you. Things will shift. People will move to prove you're right. Always. It can be instant, but if you don't create that truth for yourself first, probably not if you have some resistance at first. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it will change noticeably. And please keep it simple. You don't need 10 methods, you don't need 10 affirmations, you don't need 10 ways of doing it differently. You don't need to work on yourself or to analyze yourself or decorticate yourself and find what is your wishes and your flows and your shadow work and stuff like that. You don't need to. To change your reality, you don't need to. Save yourself sometimes and don't overcomplicate it. Pick 3 to 4 thoughts or even just one that means that you have what you want or are about to get it any moment now. Or even you always had it. No matter the tense you want to use. No matter this is about you, about your life, about someone, about relationship, or whatever. Even when nothing looks different just yet. Even when opposite things happens. Even when doubts start to show up and it feels uncertain. You keep doing it. You keep being consistent. You are not trying to convince yourself just once. You are building a foundation for yourself. Ones that will become your new default mode. Ones you will return back to instinctively, directly, when something happens. So that your reality will follow it. So if you return anything from this episode, this is absolutely not about you feeling ready or waiting to feel ready to change anything in your life. It's not about finding the perfect technique or believing in it or believing in manifestation even. It's about repeatedly think until it becomes the way you naturally think from. And once that starts to click and you see proof and proof and proof again, you will never see your life and new way of creating your life the same way. I just know that you are doing amazing, bestie. If something clicked for you in this episode, and I know it did, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And if you want to support the podcast, the easiest way to do it is to put a like, drop a comment below, and share it with someone who might want to make manifestation easier for themselves. Don't forget, it is not the end until you get what you want. I'll see you next time.